Hello friends, welcome to Hypothyroid Chef. I'm Ginny Mahar, your thyroid health and cooking coach, and today I'm going to introduce you to the way that I start my morning pretty much every day for the last few years. I've been really into matcha. So I'm going to show you two different ways to make matcha, both hot and iced. Just to tell you a little bit about matcha, it's a type of green tea. It's grown in the shade, and matcha is different than other types of green tea in that it's made from the ground up leaves. So it's really bright green. It has a really strong flavor. It can be a little bit bitter. The type that I use has a really nice, mild, nutty taste that I really enjoy. It has more caffeine and more antioxidants than regular green tea. And it also has some really interesting, aspects of it that support our health. It's high in something called catechins, which are powerful antioxidants that can be cancer preventive. And it's also got something in it called L-Theanine that can prevent that caffeine roller coaster where we go way up in our energy and blood sugar and then way down. Now, as a person who can be pretty caffeine sensitive, I find that matcha just agrees with me a whole lot better. It doesn't have that massive caffeine roller coaster. It's got more of a gentle up, and that L-theanine helps you keep that energy level at a nice even pace and then just a gentle drop off. So, but you still get all that increased alertness and energy that we like from caffeine. If you don't drink caffeine, I'm certainly not going to encourage you to start doing so, but if you are maybe a coffee drinker and you're finding coffee is just too much, maybe it's triggering anxiety, maybe it's messing with your blood sugar too much, as it sure can, matcha can be a nice alternative. So that's why I wanted to share this with you today. The other thing we have to be aware of with caffeine is that it spikes cortisol in our body, and cortisol is the stress hormone. It's not a bad thing. It's the hormone that gets us out of bed in the morning. But when we drink caffeine, our cortisol spikes, and it makes the body feel like it's sort of in a state of stress. And that's what caffeine does. So that's a nice thing about matcha, is that L-theanine kind of blunts that cortisol spike along with that blood sugar spike as well. So it's just kind of a nice, mellow, caffeinated beverage that's got some health benefits with all those antioxidants. There's been a ton of research on green tea. It supports weight loss, which I know is a common frustration for a lot of us as thyroid patients. So it's just, kind of a nice alternative beverage, something you can order if you're going through the coffee drive-through, going to a coffee shop or something like that. Anyway, let's get to it. I'll show you how I make mine. First, I'm going to show you my summer matcha. So we're going to take a big glass, and I use less than usually what's called for. I'd say about a half a teaspoon of matcha powder. You can see that it's really, really bright green. And for my liquid here, I like to use coconut water because it's hydrating. It's got potassium in it and a bunch of electrolytes, and it just, it's a nice way to start the day with that hydration. Now, one thing with matcha is it can kind of clump together, so you can use something like this traditional matcha whisk. Here, I'll show you what this looks like. So this is a traditional bamboo matcha whisk, and you can use that to kind of, whisk and break up the clumps of green tea to just get it, nice and mixed in. But what I like to use is this frother. It just works really well for matcha. It works great for coffees. If you like a little bit of, maybe a non-dairy creamer or something in there, it will, create that nice frothing effect. But it also just mixes up the matcha really well into the liquid. So I start with just a little bit because you'll see when I use this frother, it kind of sends the liquid up the sides. Okay, so once that's all nice and mixed up, then I go ahead and add a little bit more of my coconut water. Of course, I like to add a bunch of ice. And then to top it off, I like to use this vanilla Nut Pods non-dairy creamer. It's made with almond and coconut milk, and it's Whole30 approved, so it's fairly clean. I like the taste of it, and it's got that wonderful vanilla touch that's really, really good with matcha. So yeah, that's it. You just mix that up, stir it together. You have a nice, creamy, wonderful iced matcha latte that's naturally sweetened with that hydrating coconut water. That is a wonderful way to start the day, especially when the weather's hot. Okay, next I'm going to show you how I make my hot matcha the rest of the year. Let me grab one thing. So kind of a similar technique here. I use about half a teaspoon. This is a pretty big mug. It's about, I'd say, a 12-ounce mug. And I like to add a scoop of collagen peptides. I like these Great Lakes collagen peptides. They're grass-fed. They're easy to find. It's just a really trusty product I've used for many, many years. Helps with skin, hair, and nail growth. Helps support gut health. If you have leaky gut, if you're recovering from anything like that, it can kind of help heal up those intestinal walls and just help maintain your gut health. So collagen's really nice. I drink that pretty much every day. You can also put something like that in your iced matcha latte because this will dissolve in hot or cold liquids. Okay, so I've got my collagen peptides and my matcha in there. And I like to add a little bit of honey for sweetness, maybe just a teaspoon or so. And I'll kind of repeat the same process. I like to use the frother for this as well, but this time, of course, you want to use hot water. So again, only fill it up halfway if you're going to use a frother. So we'll go ahead and whiz that up. I just kind of let it go until I can't see any more green clumps in there. And then once that's done, I'll top it off with hot water. And then I like to add a little bit of my vanilla nut pods, just for a little bit of that sweet and creamy. It almost has like a marshmallow kind of taste to it with that vanilla. And that's it. So there you have it. Iced matcha and hot matcha, really easy to make. Once in a while we'll have friends come visit and they'll see me make this, and so many people drink coffee. That's kind of more the standard, and people are like, what is that? How do you make it? What does it taste like? So I know a lot of people have been curious about this. A lot of my Thrivers Club members have asked about matcha, how you make it, why I drink it, why I like it, and things like that. So I love the taste. It has a wonderful nutty taste. And, as I mentioned, some matcha can be quite bitter. I would describe it as, it can be a little bit grassy tasting. So that's why I really like this Pique Sun Goddess matcha. This is a ceremonial grade matcha. I am a huge fan of Pique teas. I've been drinking their matcha for, probably the last 3 years, pretty much every day. one thing I like about Pique is that, with teas, depending on where they're grown or how they're grown, you have to watch out for toxins. There can be things in the soil, but these Pique teas are triple toxin screened for purity. They're health promoting, and it just, mostly I just love the taste more than anything. So that's what I really like. The folks at Pique have given me a 5% off code for my community. So if you're interested in trying this, I will put the link to this and all the other kind of goodies that I use today in the description for this video, along with the discount code that I have for Pique. You can get 5% off any of Pique's teas or tea crystals with the code thyroid5. So I love it. I highly recommend this matcha. If you're going to try matcha, this is absolutely the best one I've tasted, and I've tried a lot of them. So anyway, I hope you enjoy that. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more thyroid-friendly recipes and lifestyle inspiration. I'm Ginny Mahar, the Hypothyroid Chef, wishing you happy cooking, happy thriving, and the best of health. See you next time.